All right. Hello, everybody. Let me make sure I have my sound off. Yay, it looks like it worked. So this was my first time doing the YouTube Live with the scheduling the meeting and everything. So I was hoping it would all work and it looks like it did. So love it when that happens that way. All right. I'm gonna make sure I have everything set up and open on my phone. Give everyone a minute to find this. Okay. Make sure I can see comments this way. It looks like they're updating and working. All right. Well, hello, everybody. I hope everyone is having a good week so far. Good. And sound is good. Thank you for letting me know that, TJ. Oh, hold on. Okay. I still had sound on my phone. That's not good. I don't need to hear myself on repeat. All right. So yes, I'm super excited. I'm seeing everyone talking about sneak peeks. Yes, I am excited that I get to share a little sneak peek. It's less than a week away now. Our release is next Monday. So we're not taunting you terribly badly. Unpacking your Pinkfresh order. Yay, Sherry. So I know just before someone asks too, because I know we just had a release here really recently. Oh, thank you, Cindy. It's actually messy hair. I just didn't have time to wash it today. So I'm glad it looks good today. So I know we just had a release. That was supposed to be our October release, and it was kind of supposed to be mid-October, and those lovely supply chain issues just pushed everything out. That's why we ended up with 2 releases in November. That wasn't intended. It really is only the one November release. But just in case you're like, wait, didn't they just have a release? Yes, we did, but it was a little bit closer together. All right, so we're going to use our upcoming release next week. Sorry, I'm taking my socks off there because I'm hot. The sun came out and it's really warm in my office here. It's kind of hiding behind the clouds again. Leah's behind the scenes. I haven't seen her pop in yet, but she should be back. She should be on there any minute here. I might have missed her commenting. So this upcoming release is an essentials release. So it's going to be, just like the name implies, some really great essential dyes. And if you saw my sneak peek photo, some fun new little embellishments that I'll sneak peek today as well. Yeah, everything's on a boat, it seems. Yes, and I am up here in Washington State, and we've had insane rain and flooding. I feel like I've spent all kinds of time the last couple of days just looking at the river levels. We're way up high on a hill. We're fine. But most of the routes to go anywhere are all underwater and closed. So we're just kind of hanging at home. My parents are basically where they're stuck in a pretty rural area, and all 3 routes out are currently closed with the flooding. Yeah, and my daughter, who has usually a 20-minute commute to work, is going to have at least an hour. There's only one route that's open, so we're just fingers crossed she can get around and make it there. Essentials dyes. Yes, Cindy, we have a whole line of essential dyes, and what they are is just our basic, just staple basic items for your collection, like stitched rectangles, a bunch of things that we use just kind of as a basic building block for cards and stuff. So we keep adding to these. So there's a couple, there's another fun new shape die or 2, and then some edges that we've released in other shapes that we're kind of building out to others. So it looks like we have plenty of people on here. I've seen Leah on there. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera around. Actually, before I switch the camera around, a couple quick things. Leah's behind the scenes moderating. I will be doing my best to sit and watch and catch comments. I don't do YouTube quite as often. Usually Leah does YouTube and I do Facebook, but we've decided to start switching that up here. So we'll kind of alternate weeks. So you'll get to see us both one place or the other, kind of alternating. So I'll be watching comments. If I miss anything, Leah's going to be moderating. She will catch your questions if I miss them. If we somehow both miss them, just leave another comment and let us know. She'll also link up anything that I use that is already released. Bear in mind, again, some of what we're using today are sneak peeks, so they won't be released till Monday. But the things that I'm using that are released, like our inks that were restocked. If you haven't heard that yet, our full-size inks are restocked. I think we're still waiting on the ink cubes, hopefully soon. but she'll link all those up. So if you have any questions about what I'm using, just kind of watch in the comments and you'll see the link pop up on that. And then she'll also pick a winner for a gift card, a $15 gift card at the end of the live. And all of those comments count as an entry. And if you also can share this in a group, in a message to a friend, on your own Facebook page, however you want to do that, leave another comment and let us know you shared. That also counts as an entry. And just feel free to chat a lot, answer someone else's questions, tell us about your week. All of those comments will just count as an entry. And I think that covers it. So yeah, I think we're ready. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this camera around now. Oh, one other thing, hit that little, let's see, I never quite know where I'm pointing. I don't know if I'm on the right way. The little like button, that thumbs up button. If you click that, that helps kind of get the word out on YouTube a little bit better so everyone can find this video and join us as well. So, all right, let's switch this camera around and go ahead and get started. Get things all slid into place. So here is the little sneak peek. I am using this isn't part of the new release. This is a stencil from a previous release, but we're going to use this to create our basic background. This is the fancy floral print, and I have used this one a little bit, but not a lot. So I thought it'd be kind of a fun one to pull out and create a kind of a soft background. And then I'm super excited about these new shaker hearts. We released the shaker stars here not that long ago, and they've been super fun and popular. And so I'm really happy. The perfect shaped heart. Leah and I are both picky heart people, picky star, picky shape people. And so we worked really hard to settle on a shape that we were both happy with. So just like the shaker stars, they've got the lovely stitching detail on both sides. So you can see on the back the larger one and the smaller. So you get the stitching on the die cut and also the outer frame. So it gives you a couple ways to use these. And I'm going to use both the window and the other. So this is one of the new release items. And then the other new item that we have, another addition to the folk edge. We released earlier this year the folk edge circles. So we're adding folk edge rectangles and maybe another shape as well as part of the release. Oh yeah, flooded in BC, Chris. I know I've seen that it's bad up that way in Bellingham. We're supposed to go to Bellingham for an appointment this afternoon, and I don't think we'll make it because I-5 is still closed. North. Okay, so I've got some fun ink colors out. We're going to start. I went ahead and just jumped ahead a little bit. So I already die cut out the largest frame on the folk edge rectangles. And this largest size is actually exactly an A2 card panel size. So I'm not going to die cut it again just because I did that in advance so we can get started. But I have an A2 panel here of white cardstock, and you can see it perfectly fits in there. So when I die cut these, you can use a bigger piece of cardstock. But if you don't want to waste and you already have pre-cut panels like I do, I just kind of line it up into those grooves and then carefully tape it in place from this side to cut it out. So that's kind of something fun and different with this than like our stitched or diagonal stitched rectangles. And release 5x7 dies and stencils. You know, I don't know if we will, but because of the size of this one, because it's bigger, you could use it to mat on a larger card base, and that would work. And then of course, there's the mix of the plain rectangles in there and the smaller sizes. So kind of a fun for layering and different sizes. But I went ahead and cut this one out. And since it's an A2 panel, it's going to be perfect to start stenciling. Oops, that's a little, one of those little dots hadn't popped out yet, to add our stenciled background. So let me plunk some stuff around on my desk. Yes, so you can see the detail. Let me hold that up a little bit closer. Back here. I'm not sure which card base I'm using, but I have two today. But let me hold it up on a colored, hopefully that shows a little bit better. So it's kind of just got like a fun folk design edge on it. I don't know if that's focusing right to see. Anyway, so we'll just go ahead and use this. Move these out of the way. And we'll just start here with stencil number 1. I'm going to do my usual tape from the back side. So we're still hugging the back there. And because of this, it's going to be really easy to use those corner alignment guides just to match up to the corners of my panel. It's the perfect size. All right, I wanted to go for a really soft colored background on this. So I'm picking really pale colors and just keeping them really soft and light. I want this just to kind of be like a soft pattern paper background, but as long as I can talk. I feel like my mouth is not catching up to my brain, or maybe my brain's a little slow and my mouth's getting ahead. I don't quite know. All right, let me clean off my ink blending brush, make sure that we're good to go. And I'm going to start here with Ballet Slipper and just do a soft, it's a nice soft color, which is perfect for what I want to do here. And I'm not going to go super darker on the outer edges. I don't really want to, I don't mind a little color, but I'm actually going to keep it a little darker on the inside and a little softer on the outer edges, just because I've got that detail from the die on the edge of that rectangle. I thought about masking it off, but I'm just going to kind of let it fade off softly in that area. It's just kind of the way that I picked to do that today, so that I could keep it there, but keep it a little bit softer around those edges. Valentine's, you know, this would really fit. I kind of think, I mean, hearts are great for Valentine's, but I also think they're great for just encouraging cards as well. And I kind of have a plan for using a sentiment from a more recently released stamp set for the sentiment. Why stencil before die cut? Sheila. So this actually doesn't have coordinating dies. I did die cut the rectangular panel. I could stencil first and then die cut it, but I went ahead and did that first on this one. So there's that super soft pink. Oh, die cut before stencil. That makes more sense. It really doesn't matter. I just kind of did that so that I could have that done in advance. It was one thing to save a little bit of time, honestly. That's really about as complicated as that one got. You could absolutely do it the other way. And then that also, I guess it kind of allows me to see where those edges are if I want to keep my design softer around there. So easier stencil, a solid sheet. Yep, on this one, because really it's not pieces, it's just the rectangle shape. Because again, this stencil doesn't specifically have coordinating dies or anything. Okay, gonna move on to our next layer. Nope, we don't sell these, Cindy. They're called the inkstand. If you just quickly Google the inkstand, they're really easy to find. All right, so Sparkling Rose is the next one in our pink range. And I'm gonna go super duper soft on this one because I wanna just keep that soft layer so that I can see the effect of the layers of the stencil, but I wanna keep it a really delicate look. Again, I'm going for just a tinted background, sort of, if that makes sense. Like I kind of think of pretty pattern paper or fabric or something along those lines. I'm just using the extra paper the extra ink off my desk so that I can make use of all of that as we move on. Okay. And that really does look nice and soft and neutral. All right, let's clean off the stencil there. And then we'll do, it starts to feel like the magical reveal now because each layer that we're building on is starting to add some layers and dimension. Look at how pretty and soft those flowers are. I already love that. Okay, blending brushes. These ones I'm using are, I've kind of switched over from the ones I used to use. These are tailored expressions. Ugh, I feel like I can talk here eventually. And then I think I have one that I'm using from Simon Says Stamp too. So I kind of mix and match. I like blending brushes and I have lots of them, but I do a lot of ink blending. So we're gonna just kind of go with that. All right, I'm doing a Leah today and we're gonna do aquas for the leaves. I just kind of thought it fit fun with this color combo. Make sure I have the pink off my desk. I'm going to do Ocean Breeze for the first layer on the flowers here, or not the flowers, the leaves, the greenery, whatever you want to say. I thought about doing like some mints and colors like that, but I kind of opted to go for the aqua tones. I just thought they would be really pretty in these colors with that pink and the peach color I want to do for the other flowers. The cloth I'm cleaning with, it's actually a dry cloth, Laura. It's just a microfiber cloth that I like to use to get the extra ink off the stencil. I don't want it wet because I don't want it to smudge the ink underneath. So it's just a dry one that I use. And it kind of gets the ink off so I don't end up with ink all over my fingers. And Sherry, you know what? The Misty, I know I've seen a few people use that, line it up in the corner of their Misty. That's a great tip and a great way to do that. Okay, next layer coming together. Oh, I love this stencil so much, you guys. I think I could even stop there and love it already, but we're gonna keep going because that's what we do. All right, and I'm just going through the stencils in order. So next stencil layer is number 4, and it's pivoting back over to the other color of flowers. So we're gonna swap up to peach ink. Let's see. The rest of the CubeSets, yes, we're hoping they will come soon. The Simon Says one, yes, it is slightly larger. It just happens to be, I have one that's the only Simon Says one I have right now, and it's aqua, and I like keeping a whole separate aqua because I like aquas. And so kind of like Leah has a special one for coral reef, and I kind of do too, although I mix and match with ballet slipper because they're both pretty soft. So I like having one for aqua. All right, oops, and then I just got ink on my finger there, busy talking. Peach fuzz. Let's go ahead and do that for these pretty flower layers. Fuzz is another one of my favorites. I think last week we used peach fuzz and coral reef layered together. And I was a little bit, colors on this, a little bit inspired. I kind of mixed them up a little. I'm doing a little softer and more bright pink instead of those coral colors, but I love using the back of the packaging as a reference like that. It's just a great way to kind of get ideas for color combos, and then you can play and branch out. But if you kind of start and you're a little stuck for ideas, I love being able to start there and kind of have an idea of what to go with. Okay. Let's clean up again. Okay, and let's see this layer. Oh, it's so soft and pretty, you guys. I'm hoping it shows up okay on the camera and you can see those pretty soft colors. Okay, on to stencil number 5. So it looks like we're going back to the detail layer for the leaves. So I'm going to do a really soft touch on this color because we're going to do aquamarine. And aquamarine, it's not super dark, but it's definitely a deeper tone. And so I want to just keep this layer soft and keep that dreamy effect going that we have. So I'm going super dainty with my applying that, really a gentle touch as I'm ink blending it. And it is going to soften. It's a dye ink. If you know, you've probably heard us talk about dye inks a lot. Dye inks do soften as they dry. So even if you put it on and think at first it looks too dark, do keep in mind as it dries and sinks in and dyes the paper that it is going to soften down a little bit too, which is kind of great to know and a little reassuring if you put it on and go, oh, I really didn't want it that dark. All right, you're almost done. So there is that detail layer. So we just have one more to add, the detail on those other little flowers. I think I missed a question about softer touch. Yeah, I think so. Someone's probably said this already, but the best thing I learned for keeping things really soft when I'm ink blending, the best tip I learned was just to go really soft to start with. Two things: to go super soft, because you can always build up and layer more colors. Um, so as you're ink blending, just do a little bit at a time. The other thing is when the stencil's on, sometimes you don't fully appreciate how much color is on there. So sometimes just peel your stencil up and peek under a little. Just keep it, kind of adhered in place, but peel it up, because sometimes I peel it off and I'm like, oh, there's more color there than I thought there was. So those are kind of the two ways is I've just found, and it does help instead of like putting your thumb on your brush as well. If you hold it like this, that helps. You can't push down as hard as if you use your thumb on there. And then you notice every time I ink up, I'm kind of blotting a little bit of the ink off there I have a glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, you can use a scrap of cardstock or paper. And it kind of gets the initial concentration of ink kind of off your blending brush before you start. Okay, I think I got more down there. Again, this apricot is a nice deep color, so I'm going a fairly soft touch, but it's also small areas, so I'm not too worried about it getting too deep and dark on there because it's only going to be on a tiny little area. Yeah, start with less than you think you need, less ink, less pressure, less blending period, just a soft touch and blend over as much as you need to. And then if you don't like that, add some more on. Okay. I just had to clean. I had a little ink on my fingers, so I needed to grab a baby wipe and take care of that. Okay. Final magical reveal. Are you guys ready? Ta-da! Isn't that a beautiful background? Oh, I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so now that we've done that, let me put a few things away, make some room on my desk. Out. Lots of stuff going on. All right, we are going to use this lovely heart to make a window that I want to tuck my sentiment into. Now, it is a little sad and heartbreaking to cut into this design because it's so pretty. So I'm going to keep that heart and I'm going to tuck it on the inside of our card because I don't want to waste it. So we're going to use the whole thing. So let's go ahead and start here with carefully tape this in place with just a teensy tiny bit of tape. Make sure I have it centered and lined up and straight. Use my spell binders for this one. A little bit of glitter there. Okay, let's run this through. Get this out of the way. All right. Pull the tape off just so it's out of my way. And now, can you see we've got that beautiful window with the stitching on it. And then we've got this adorable little heart. Now I have to pick which version of the card base I want to use. I have an aquamarine one, kind of to match the leaves, or I've got a pink version. What do you guys think? I'm a little undecided. All right, now I'm gonna, I know, and I like just the die on the card's pretty, but I'm gonna use this on the inside to add my sentiment. So do we do aqua or we do pink? Seeing a lot more votes for aqua. Few and pink in there. So it's hard because in person it looks a little bit different too. I'm actually a little bit wondering. Oh, now I see a bunch of pink coming through. Yes, the inside heart is stitched, Laura, who's asking. I'm hoping if I hold it up there, it'll show the stitching on there. You know what, you guys? I think in person, I think I like the pink one better. I'm torn because I really love the aqua as well, but I think the pink and the heart and the florals, I think that's the one that I'm really liking. So I think we're going to do the pink. And then it really reinforces that Valentine. Someone said Valentine. I know, do a second one. There you go, Darren. We might have to do that. All right, so I'm going to do that. So let's get that arranged in place. And I want to stamp my sentiment in there first. And then I'm going to pop it up on foam adhesive for a little bit of dimension. I almost, you know, we could almost turn this into a shaker card. I wasn't going to do that today, but now I'm thinking this would look really pretty as a shaker card. Let me grab a couple things. I need to grab some acetate and let's see if we can turn this into a shaker card too. Acetate, let's see if that piece is big enough. We are set. And it looks like we can make that work. Okay. I'm going to trim this down a little as soon as I find my scissors. This is kind of a pivot and a change in plans, you guys. Wasn't what I originally was going to do. I thought about a shaker and then I decided just to make it a window for the sentiment. I think this is going to be too fun to pass up as a shaker. So we're going to do the acetate, and I have a little bit of really fine score tape. This is what I like to put around my acetate windows, so I make sure it has a really sturdy hold. Any kind of tape, you could use liquid glue. It just takes a little while to dry. So this is kind of my preference. And I kind of just bend it around. It curls up that backing paper, but as soon as you peel that off, it just flattens out and you can't even tell. So I just kind of do it in little jerky tidbits. You know, I think I only did one edge to edge shaker, and I want to do more of those because I love the look of them. All right. Oops, let's make sure we get that on there right. Okay, fully covered there. So there's our shaker window. So before I do any more and put foam on here, let's get that sentiment on the inside that I want to add. So I'm going to hold this just temporarily in place. Use other smaller magnets. I'm going to use this heart here, the window we've cut, as the guideline to pick where I want to add my sentiment. There we go. I'm going to use a sentiment from the Daisy Slimline frame. Yes, Debbie, a couple of the things are new releases. If you scroll back, there's links to everything. But the fancy floral print is the stencil, and then the heart and the outer are sneak peeks of next week's release. So you haven't missed anything there. All right, and I want to use that Hey You sentiment on there. I'm just going to center that on there. And then on the inside, on the heart on the inside, I'm going to add one of the companion sentiments. I haven't decided which one yet, but it's going to be something encouraging. So let's get that lined up in there. And I think what I want to do, just to keep this soft, oops. I think I'm going to heat emboss that in white right on my card base. It will warp the card base just a little bit, but because we're doing that full shaker, I'm going to have plenty of foam tape to kind of flatten out and hold it flat. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that. Move these out of the way. Let's pull out and do the powder tool to keep the embossing powder from sticking anywhere. We don't want it. And pull out my embossing pad and my white embossing powder. Gotta work around my laptop and everything in the way. Okay. So I'm gonna use my Misty to go ahead and allow me to stamp this a couple times just to make sure I have a really good stamped impression. Embossing powder will stick everywhere I want it to. Already I can kind of see that showing up, so I think we're good. Move that out of the way. White embossing powder, and then we'll heat emboss. I know this is great timing for the heart die with Valentine's coming up so soon. Okay. And that worked perfectly on the first try. Gotta love that. Move these out of the way. Have my heat gun and make some noise for a minute. Okay, and I saw the stencil is out now, Debbie. That one is a previous release. The magnets with my Misty, they're the normal magnets, the little round ones. I just cover them with washi tape to make them easier to pick up and grab. So they're the same ones. Yeah, they're just brand new. You've probably seen that. Okay, let's check and see how that, ooh, and I love that in white, how that pops on that background. So perfect. Okay, so now we've got that in place. Get that on there square so we can see how that's gonna look. Let's get our shaker filling. And I think I just want to use give me a minute here. Sorry, I gotta dig these out. I think I'm gonna do some of these here. I just have, I think they're pretty pink posh. They're just different sizes of heart confetti. Fill it with that because I want to keep it fairly simple and not cover up. And you know what, the magnets, the round ones, I think the newer ones come with the longer, that was one of my older Misties, and they used to come just with the round. I think the new ones come with the bar magnets, which I probably actually love better, but I didn't have those to start with. Let's see. I'm going to use my foam strips to go around this just so that I don't have to use up as much as my shaker filling, because I just need to go right around the heart. And the same thing, if you pull off the backing, this will actually curve really nicely right around my opening for my shaker. Yeah, aqua and white would be great in the shaker window. I could mix and match different things. I kind of got stuck in the fix of, since I didn't plan on doing a shaker, I didn't really pull out shaker filling. So I'm just kind of going for, yeah, going for what I have here. So I'm just gonna get that shape filled out around the heart, and then I can fill in the rest of the area with bits of the foam. Okay, that one just stuck to my finger. I'm just going to use the same pieces of foam strip that I have here because I know they're going to be the perfect perfect width to match up with what I have around the shaker part there. I don't want them to be varying. Let me grab another sheet of those because I've used that up. And you know what? You can use whatever you want for Pinkfresh. I would use, like if you do the jewels, make sure and put them in so that the flat side is to the back. I also, if I do the crystals, a lot of times I'll pull out, I pull out the larger size ones and just put some of the smaller size in. So the jewels work really well for shakers as well. Okay, and I'm going pretty heavy here on my foam because I want to make sure this is nice and stable since I'm heat embossed on my card base there too. Okay, one more. Hit a little more just in these corners to make sure that, again, I've got that stability. Okay, I think that will do what I want there. Okay, let me pull off all of this backing. All of these little bits of foam. So this might take a few seconds. Just gonna apologize now. It's like the test of my fingernails and how well they work. I know, and you know what? There, you can add glitter to shaker cards. I've seen people do rice and seed beads. There's so many fun things. And a lot of times I love to mix and match things. So like if I use some of Pinkfresh's jewels, I'll grab some glitter and maybe some little sequins. Again, this time today, since I wasn't gonna do a shaker to start with, I just kind of grabbed something that would be quick and easy and kind of have a mix. Yes, and you're exactly right. The foam it makes the shaker and also pops it up off the background. It's also going to be lots of lovely adhesive to help keep our card base from warping too much with heat embossing. It wasn't too bad, but you know, you can see it's a little bit bent there, but it's really, this was some good stable cardstock. All right, get all my adhesive out of the way here. Or not my adhesive, my backing. And then I'm gonna dump just what I have left of my shaker filling in here. I'm just gonna use this one up. Spread it around a little so it'll sit flat. And then because this is perfectly A2 card size, I'm just gonna put this on from the back. Yeah, and you know what? I've seen people use the powder tool and I didn't think about that. So I'm kind of late for that, but that's okay. All right, make sure my sentiment's on there. It's right side up. I've got my top up and I'm just gonna match this up in the top and the bottom, all of those corners, and then press it in nice and firmly. And then, oh my goodness, how cute is that? All those pretty little hearts, and then you can see that sentiment on the inside. Okay, I just always have to shake it because it's so fun to see it shaking up. All right, move this out of the way. I probably could have even put less shaker filling in there and been okay, but you can still see that sentiment through there, nice and subtle. The release goes live next Monday. I'm seeing Catherine's question on there. All right, let's go ahead and clean this off real quick. And let's get our secondary sentiment. I'm going to just stamp it on this heart that we're going to tuck on the inside. And I'm going to hold it in place there and then make sure I'm level, hopefully anyway. I'm going to use the grid on the Misty to make sure. There we go. And let's pick, I almost want to do this little one. Celebrate the big things, the little things, and everything in between. And that'll just fit really nice on that heart there. I use those grid marks on here just to kind of make sure I'm even and square and double check it with the grid on the lid. Looks like we're set, so let's grab some detailed black ink. Oh, looking at my comments and I almost slapped my ink pad into my pretty heart. That would have put a quick end to that plan for the inside, wouldn't it? Okay, Gentle presses with fingertips. I'm going to stamp that. Oops. I wonder, I haven't stamped the sentiment yet. I'm wondering if I've got a little problem there on my Misty, or if I didn't get the ink on there good enough. Oh dear. Okay, now it moved a little and I think I messed that up. You know what? Let me see if I can slide something on and kind of bump that up a little. This will be one last, oh, and I moved it. You know what? We're going to switch sentiments, and I think I just ruined the little heart. So we're going to have to forget that. And I think I might have, since I haven't used the stamp set yet, I think I might have one of the prototypes, and I might have a little bit of a flaw on my stamp sentiment there. It feels like it's kind of curved down on the end. So I'll worry about that another time, but we're going to have to just pivot here. Oh, I hate ruining that little heart, but we're just going to roll with it. So I'm going to still stamp my sentiment on the inside because I was planning on that. Go ahead and do, this one's a great fit in there too. Let's add the, your worries are on my heart. That kind of fits with our heart sentiment, don't you think? We'll stamp it right into the inside of the card base. And part of this is clunky just because I have the top of the shaker kind of pushing at the top, and I'm trying not to ruin that. So one last little gentle stamp there, and we're good. I've got ink on my thumb. I love when that happens, huh? Clean off my stamp image there because it's got the detailed black, and I always like to make sure and clean that one quickly. I know that sentiment. I'll redo that another time. Like I said, I'm kind of sad that I screwed up that little heart, but it's kind of bummed out and not working, and I don't think I'll be able to get that in there. I might be able to fix it with a Sharpie or something and write it in, or when I get the replacement stamp, I'll just have to redo this card again with the other color for the background. That's just all there is to it. So normally that's what would have been on the inside, but we've still got our fun sentiment. And that'll work okay too. I love that little add-on. I think I got some black smudges there. I'm just a mess today, guys. We need one more thing. Any guesses what the last thing we need on here is? I bet nobody can guess because it's something we never, ever, ever do on life cards. We have new embellishments coming, you guys. So they are some more of our pearls, and we have matte gold. And we also have matte silver. And now that I'm looking at it, I was pretty sure I was going to want the gold, and I might still, but I might switch over to the silver. So let's see. Let's get a couple of these on here. And I love the look of these because they're the same as our other embellishment pearls in the same beautiful packaging, but they're a lovely little matte finish, which is so cool. Let's try some different. You know, we might stick with the gold. I think the gold is actually going to work pretty well. Let me just try that there. Get all my sizes. There we go. I need one more of the tiny ones. And just do a couple little clusters there. Oh, and then I missed when I was putting them away. These bears. There, I missed as well. I know, and the shaker bits would be enough bloom. You're right, Roxanne, but I think these are going to be kind of a fun little addition as well. I'm trying to decide now. I think I just want to do those in a little trio cluster, kind of on the side where that sentiment is, because I want to kind of frame the sentiment pretty much. adjust that a little bit. This is where I'm going to fiddle, you guys. Gotta get them in just the right spot, you know. Okay. I think that works. Let's go ahead and do that. The silver, you want to see what the silver looks like? Yeah, it's kind of a matte gold look. All right, these are the new ones. This is a new sneak peek. And in real life, so here's the reason. I thought I would like the silver better, but once I got them on here in real life, with those orange flowers, that really warm color, I felt like the warm of the gold, it just matched better with that. The gold would be pretty too. Honestly, I don't think you could go wrong with either one. But I opted for the gold just because once I put them on there, I liked it better with the orange flowers. Yes, so these will be part of the new release as well. Oh, and wouldn't you know, it's going to be that one time that I clear that open a little bit. I've never had it clog, but sometimes if I left a little residue on there, I do have to quickly run the needle up and down. And there we go, perfect. All right, I know I'm missing comments because I've been fiddling with my embellishments here. Okay, finish putting those down. All right, so here's a closer look at our finished shaker. And again, the heart that would have been on the inside had it worked as it was supposed to. And like I said, I might recreate this card anyway and redo that. You never know, because I do think that that would be really pretty if I hadn't messed up the sentiment on there. But I really do like this sentiment in there as well. I think it's a good fit. And the fun little shaker bits and that heat embossed sentiment on the inside and the beautiful background. All right, you know what? This actually went a lot quicker than I thought today. I thought I was gonna barely squeak by and get everything done, but I think we've got this finished. So again, we were showing sneak peek of this new background outer die, the heart on the center, and then the fun new embellishments, the matte gold and matte silver that we sneak peeked on there as well. And here I just found another stray on my desk. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch around. I know I just missed a bunch. I was kind of cleaning my desk, tidying a little bit while I chatted. So let me turn the camera around, catch any final questions. See, and I could do that, Melanie. I could cover that up with a pink strip. Debbie, I thought about that, a Copic, a black pen, or a really fine line Sharpie. Marlene, where did I put it? The embellishment tool, the one I happened to use was, it's a Studio Katia embellishment wand. It's just a wax tip. Another one we use a lot is the Crystal Katana. Let me get that up there the right way so you can see. Yep, and maybe I could restamp that on, like I said, can do it, but you know what, boo-boos happen and things happen, and I'll check out that stamp set when I'm not live and just make sure that it wasn't something bumpy on my Misty that ruined that or whatever. So I'll see if I can figure that out. But in the meantime, you just go with what works. And in the long run, I think I love that sentiment on the inside with that heart almost a little bit better, if I'm going to be honest. So yep, a pink ribbon, layer it up. I'll figure out something to do with it. Or like I said, I'll recreate the same card and do it on that other aqua card base. We can check that out. All right, so once again, those are new release items. The heart and the embellishments and the outer edge are going to be released on Monday. We'll have our usual blog hop, lots of fun inspiration and tons of giveaways. There's always a great chance to win along the way. And let's see, I see today's winner is announced. Congratulations to Flora Velez. I don't know if I said your last name right. You won today's $15 gift card. So email Leah at pinkfreshstudio.com. Her name is spelled Lea, no H on the end, and give her 2 or 3 days to get back to you. All right. Well, I will see you all again in the comments on Thursday for Facebook Live. Leah will be taking over that this week, and I know she'll be sneak peeking more of the release. So make sure and tune in for that so you can see more of the new goodies as a sneak peek. And then we'll see you next week for the release. And I have no idea what our schedule is going to be for lives next week because here in the US, it's also Thanksgiving. So we might have a little bit of an abbreviated schedule, and we'll figure that out later. And Leo will probably announce that on Thursday. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week. Hope you get some sunshine and beautiful weather, and I'll see you again soon.